Hello and welcome back everybody over here to the place. Player here, bring you another episode of our Bundle Rumble. Still at Modern Horizons 3. This is day number 3, pack number 3. Corner. Let's see what nice things we will crack open tonight. Let's see. So yesterday's pack was rather nice. Let's see what we unwrap today. There it's popping nice. So, off for a good start. Let's see. Side. Looks like we have either a token or rules card. Yeah, let's see. First up, we start off with a common here. That is Galvanic Discharge. For 1 red, it's an instant. Choose target creature or planeswalker. And we get 3 energy counters. And then we may pay any amount of energy. So if we just play this one as our own energy source, up to 3. And of course, if you have from other source, then maybe more. And then Galvanic Discharge deals that much damage to that permanent. Remember, if you find a rock marking crackling noises, just put it back carefully. Oh, great Desert Prospector. Oops, didn't even see the flavor text. Sorry, down there. So overall, this is a neat little removal, because I mean, worst case it deals as much damage as a lightning bolt would, and yeah, best of all, of course, it can remove any size of enemy depending on how many energy counters you have. That's pretty sweet. I mean, not much to say. Apparently someone here did not heed the advice about the crackling rock, and yeah, now he cracked it and we get a discharge. Nice simple removal. I like it. Oops, don't want to see the foil. So what do we have here? Slowing down camera, that's what we have. Let's see. Petrifying Meddler. For 4 generic, 1 blue. It's a creature Eldrazi. It's a 4/5. It has Devoid, so officially even though it costs blue mana, it has no color in all zones and the library and so on. However, for stuff like Commander, it still counts as a blue card, so keep that in mind. And when we cast this spell, tap up to 1 target creature and put a stun counter on it. So basically, the next time it would untap, instead that counter is removed instead. And it has reach, so for 5 mana, a 4/5 with reach is pretty good. And the fact that you get this true ability on cast is also pretty good. I mean, that's one of the good things about the Eldrazi with their whole, yeah, when we already cast, may I do things, shtick. So yeah, pretty good. I believe this is Ulamog's spawn, clockwise. But yeah, going at it with his grabby tentacles, stunning things. Ah, sweet. Ooh, goes up a little bit more. Go, still can see them. Next is Foul Strike. Should be confused with Foul Play. Yeah, just kidding. This is for 1 generic, 1 green, and instant. We destroy target creature with flying. And alternatively, we can also use Reinforce 2, which means for 2 generic and 1 green. And discarding this card from our hand, we may put up to 2. Oh, sorry, it has to be exactly 2+1/+1 counters the target creature. My bad, I thought you could go up to 2. Up to 2. My bad. So yeah, 3 mana, instant speed for 2 counters and something. Uncounterable pretty much. I mean, of course, if they have a stifle, then yeah, they can counter it. So that's pretty good. And a resounding wallop. The ancient battle between Buzzard and Druid was finally finished. I see. Is that guy floating with some balloons? It looks like it. That Dudu is flying in the air with some balloons, and this is a very Wile E. Coyote face they are making here. Like, Jesus. I mean, back in old Magic, you had a lot of weird art or funky art, but it's weird seeing this stuff nowadays in a not unset. I wonder if this card started out as an uncut and we're like, hey, this is pretty good, we can just print it in a normal set. It's alright. Destroy a creature flying for 2 mana, instant speed. It's good. Of course, the upside of using it as a pump spell is even better. Yeah. Ah. I smell murder. Kind of. Hello? Camera? Can we get a sharp picture? Thank you. So this is Breath Your Last. It's for one generic double black, an instant. As we can see here, we destroy target creature or planeswalker and we gain 1 life for each of its colors. This is basically a murder with upside. Like if you remember murder, that's for the same mana cost, instant destroys target creature. This one can destroy creature or planeswalker, and we gain between 0, if we for example hit a devoid creature like this one, and up to 5 life if you have a 5-color creature. Yeah. Pretty good. Pretty good. Bodies are so much more cooperative. The soul out of the way. Yeah. Bad, Liliana. Bad. Stop that. So here, see here, basically the soul is leaving the body and walking up the stairs towards, I don't know, the afterlife? Gateway to heaven? What do you guys think? It's an interesting angle because it seems she's going out the inverse way if you look at it. Like she's looking that way and the spirit is leaving the soul almost mirrored. That's interesting. Interesting. But yeah. As I said, straight upgrade to murder, and murder sometimes gets played already, so sure, why not? Actually, I need to put more over here. Get all 5 cards in a row. Go. Next up, yeah, that's how I make my videos, everybody. We just wing it. So this is for 1 generic, 1 white, an instant. Target creature gets +2/+2 until end of turn. Put a flying counter in it, which is cool so the flying sticks around, and we scry 1. And after a moment of confusion, the otter splashed through clouds and gamboled in the wind, delighted in its newfound freedom. And this guy could be right at home in Bloomborough, I guess. I mean, the otter looks a bit fishy. With that all those spikes on the back, but besides that, I mean, this is really playable. I mean, it's a combat trick that also leaves something behind, and you get a scry 1 for free on top of that. I guess that's definitely playable. What do you all think? I mean, it's nothing too crazy, but I mean, if you have something where you need to, for example, play with combat tricks, or if you want to make counters, I mean, this is a combat trick with on top of counter, so yeah, I see value in this. Also, I like those weird crystalline structures in the background. What do you think what plane that is with those rocks there? Is that supposed to be ice or those gems? Or crystals, I mean. I guess crystals mostly. Oh. Yeah, I'm not sure. So, cool card. Oh, yeah, here we have something. The Warp Tusker, which is basically a new take on the Frozen Tusker, if you know that one. I think Frozen Tusker has slightly different stats, but let's see. This is the Warp Tusker for 7 generic. It's a creature Eldrazi Boar Beast. That's a mouthful. It's a 6/8, so 7 mana, 6/8, definitely good base stats. It has reach on top of that. Pretty solid. And when we cast or cycle the Warp Tusker, we create a 0/1 colorless Eldrazi spawn creature token with sacrifice this creature at 1 colorless. So basically it even has a bit of a return on the cost. Just neat. And of course we also get it when we cycle it, and its cycling cost is 2 generic, 1 green. So we can discard this for this mana cost from any time from our hand to draw a card. Now I feel like this is interesting. I mean, it's stronger power toughness wise because the original Tusker was for 7 mana 6/5. So yeah, we basically got 3 more toughness for the same price, and we got reach on top of it. However, the original Tusker, when you cycled it, gave you a land. Like, you know, you cycle and fetch the land in addition to... So I feel like the spawn, I mean, if you have something to do with Eldrazi spawns, or if you have a token doubler or something like that, then I guess this one is better, but And mind you, since this still has green down here in the cycling cost, you still can't play that in non-green decks in Commander either. So, I feel the Tusker is... I mean, you could argue that the cycling only costs 2 effectively when you get the spawn, but then again, the other one is that we get land, so... I'm not sure, I kind of still like the Tusker a lot. I mean, maybe I'm biased because I still play my cycling Astro Slide deck. Sometimes, but yeah, you were an annoying little butt. This is the Sneaky Snacker, which actually I thought should be right home on Eldraine or something like that. This for 1 blue, 1 black, a creature fairy rogue. She has flying. And she's a 2/1. And when we draw our 3rd card in a turn, similar to some other cards we had on the pack yesterday, if you remember, which cared about drawing multiple cards, like 3 or more in a turn. So if we draw our 3rd card, we can return it from the graveyard to the battlefield tapped. So if you have a sack outlet that lets you, for example, draw cards depending on how many cards, draw cards depending on cards, no, draw cards depending on the power, for example, something like Greater Good. This could be interesting. Like maybe we could, if you somehow get a more power on this thing, this can loop pretty nicely with a Greater Good. Is that good enough to play it? I don't know. If you have a deck that cycles through a lot of cards, this could be interesting to play. You know, just randomly having another guy. I think actually I have a deck where I could even play that. That's, I mean, it's still in the works, but it's about a commander that can let you sacrifice creatures to draw cards. And of course, if you sacrifice a few more, then you can get those things back as well. Neat. For the High Fae gave explicit instructions not to tarry. She stayed in Sweettooth Village for seconds, thirds, and then dessert. I mean, the weird thing about this thing is, like why food is associated with cards right now. I mean, it would usually be with food tokens, right? Or at least life gain, something like that, you know? It's weird that it's like cards are food. I mean, you could say food for thought, but I don't know. Feels weird, but cute artwork. Nothing too crazy, but also not bad. Ooh, hello there. This was a card that was definitely worth it in limited. And honestly, oddly enough, I even was able to use her bottom ability twice in one of the matches. So that was kind of crazy. So this is the Royal Cartographer. For 1 generic, 1 blue. It's a 1/3, so solid defensive body. Nothing too crazy, but I mean, it's alright. The important part of Bo are her 2 abilities. Like the first is a triggered one. See, when there's landfall, so when a land enters the battlefield under our control, we get a free energy counter. And my camera is slowing down again. And we can then tap her and pay 6 energy to draw 3 cards, which is pretty huge late game. And that helps you greatly to refuel your hand. That's a pretty sweet one, especially since I had a few other cards that passively generated energy just on the sidelines. This was pretty good. That's what I had a few occasions where I just could use this to draw. I mean, I know I had used her at least 3 times during the evening. The pre-release to draw, well, 1 time the 3 cards. I think either I got the 6 energy and she got destroyed in response to the ability that gave me the 6 energy, or I was actually able to draw a 2nd times 3. I'm not entirely sure, but yeah, she's pretty good. If you have any other energy outputs, this is pretty nice. I think, nice. Sorry, night. I think I definitely need to put it in my energy deck. And speaking about energy, here's another dude who I don't think he's that crazy. This is the Emissary of Soulfire. For 1 generic, 1 white, 1 blue. Creature, Jin Monk, a 1/4. So, I mean, we pay 1 more mana and only get 1 more toughness. This one brings with him 3 energy on default when he enters the battlefield. So, of course, if we blink him, well, that means profit. And we can pay 2 energy to put an Exalted counter on a creature we control. And we can only activate it as a sorcery, so that's kind of a shame. And what does that do? Basically, whenever a creature we control attacks alone, that creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn for each instance of Exalted among permanents we control. So if we just have 1 time Exalted, like for activating this once, then, well, we get +1/+1. If we, for example, had her give us that extra energy from a land for entering the battlefield, and I'm putting an Exalt counter on a creature, then we get +2/+2. We can do it some 3rd time, and so on. So it's, you know. So it is cumulative, but the problem is it needs you... The weird thing basically here is you need to go wide. And at the same time, you still only attack with 1 guy, which is usually rare, unless of course you have an unblockable guy or someone with infect, you know? And I think most of the time a pumper spell would be better. Like, of course, would you play blue, white, infect? Not really, but you know what I mean, right? if you have infect or if you have commander damage or something like that, like if there's value in just hitting with a single target, then I guess this is alright. Also, now I don't feel he's that great, and I also felt like during the pre-release nobody really was able to use him effectively, so that's a neat one. We got Charitable Levy. 1 generic, 1 white. It's an enchantment. Non-creature spells cost 1 more to cast, so that's like a Fawn of Amethyst in white. And whenever a player casts a non-creature spell, that might be that includes us as well, so but of course we also pay more. We put a levy counter on that thing, and after that, if there are 3 or more counters on it, we sacrifice it. And if we do, we draw a card and can search our library for a plains card, put on the battlefield tapped. Mind you, not basic plains, any plains. So triomes, duels, shock duels, anything is legitimate here. Mistwear plains, and of course then we have to shovel. That's pretty neat. As we see, yeah, that we make money from people paying the tax. The interesting thing is, like the other tax like cards, you get something instantly whenever they do something. Like, of course, they pay more and you still get something instantly. Here you have to save up first, and then you get a payout. So that's not bad. That's not bad. Can we see this being playable in the right deck? I mean, yeah, it slows down. It can replace itself and give you a ramp. Sure. I'll try that one out at least. Ooh, what do we have here? Mindless Conscription. I mean, I was thinking about the artwork, but I mean, as you see, like, yeah, they all revel in the riches. It's kind of weird because only one person should really get something, you know? Unless you say, yeah, the charity is for, well, it's always for us, you know? If this would be for the person who put the last count on, like, with their spell, then I would see this. But this way, it's like, I don't know. Bit weird. But still a cool artwork. I'm not trying to trash the artwork, it's just like I don't really see that to be, you know, completely linked there with the ability. So yeah. And us now back to Mindless Conscription. This is for 2 generic, 1 black, an enchantment. When Mindless Conscription enters the battlefield, and whenever you draw your 3rd card each turn, we amass zombies free. So this technically is already pretty good. So the first time you play this is basically like a 3 mana free. So that's pretty alright, like 3 mana for free, nothing too crazy. And with the upside of later on either replacing itself, like if the token died, or just growing the token. I mean, you can get multiple tokens, unless of course you do some shenanigans like removing the creature types from the token. Which could also be interesting. But yeah. And in case you wonder what amass does, we basically put either, if you already have any type of army, we put 3+1/+1 counters on it. That army is also a zombie. And if we don't control an army, we create a 0/0 black zombie army creature token first. And similar to some of the Lord of the Rings cards, I know I did not release the videos for Lord of the Rings bundle cracking. But here we also had a mass orcs. There we made an army that's orcs. I think the original one just made an army which... Or was it also somewhere? I mean, I'm not totally sure. It was basically from the Amon Cat block when basically... Or was it one of the sporks? One of the 2 blocks basically where you had Nicol Bolas amass an army of his lapis infused soldiers. Yeah, pretty cool card. I think I definitely could play that. The one or other deck. That's pretty neat. Ooh. Oh yeah. Why does this look like something I want to try out in one of my decks? Astrid's Invocation. 2 generic, 1 blue. Enchantment. You may have Astrid's Invocation in the battlefield as a copy of an enchantment you control. Except it has at the beginning of your upkeep, you may exile this enchantment. If you do, return to its battlefield and its owner's control. Ooh. So it can copy, and if you find a better target on your board, then you can link it. I wonder if you can copy auras effectively. Don't think so, because it doesn't have a target. It would just drop to the grave. I would need to look it up. Enchanters add layers upon layers of complexity to the world around them. Yep, that's true. This is basically a copy enchantment with upside. Well, I must say, side grade, I guess, actually, rather, because copy enchantment for the same mana cost was an enchantment that just copies any enchantment, including opponents. But again, in an enchantress deck, like if you need your big enchantment again, sure, why not have 2 of those? Or 3, or 4, I don't know. Always not bad. Yeah, I can see this having potential. Of course, if you don't need the effect that it originally copied, then heck, just go for another one in your upkeep. Ooh, and we got a second rare, everybody. Wait, I just noticed this is a reprint from a commander deck. This isn't even a... I was like, this is our normal rare, but don't look at that. That's I don't know which commander, but it's one of the commander sets. That's cool. So we got our first double foil pack, everybody. Double rare pack. We got the Winter Moon as our main rare. Winter Moon for 2 generic, it's an artifact. It's not to Winter Orb and Blood Moon. Basically, players can't untap more than 1 non-basic land during the untap steps. Yeah, it's pretty much like a Winter Orb. Winter Orb didn't let any lands untap, if I recall right. And this one only lets non-basic untap, not untap. The Sun and Moon have decided to make a completion of our misery. Oh, sorry. I misread. Let's try it again. Will I edit this in the post? No, I don't think so. The Sun and Moon have decided to make a competition out of our misery, said now Romin, the veteran explorer. And this is a pretty cool 8 card. Like, if you play mono red and already play something like Blood Moon and Magus of the Moon, I mean, here you go, another piece. Or back to basics. Like, if you play mono blue and you already play back to basics, I guess that's a better thing. But I think with back to basics none untap, this one at least lets them untap one of them, but still it's not... It's seriously slowing people down. Like, the more efficient your playgroup stacks are, the better this thing becomes. I like it. That's a nice pull. And we got a Glimpse the Impossible. Shiny, look at that. It's a very interesting artwork. I'm not sure what I should think about the spell also. I'm still pondering if I should put it into my Broody Clad token deck. I mean, it can make tokens, which we get to in a second, but yeah, it is a bit weird. Let's see, this Glimpse the Impossible. 2 generic, 1 red, a sorcery. We exile the top 3 cards of our library. And then we may play those cards this turn. And at the beginning of the end step, if any of those cards remain in exile, like if we haven't cast them, most likely, basically, we put them into our graveyard. And then create a 0/1 Eldrazi spawn for each of those cards put into your graveyard this way. And again, it explains what an Eldrazi spawn is, that they basically can be sacrificed to make it colorless. So this is neat because usually those spells, like if you cannot use the card, then yeah, it's lost in exile, whereas here, you sometimes even want to bank on them not being playable, so that you can get the tokens. Which is, as I said, like why I'm not entirely sure if I want to play that card or not, because it can be an impulse draw that's pretty good, or it can be a token maker. And pretty clear, of course, you kind of want to have both, like you want to have more cards with more tokens. Not sure. As we see here from the flavor also, Gisela beheld true divinity and was humbled. So yeah, Gisela, the... What's her title? It's not the Broken Blade, it's Gisela the... You know what, it's the red-white angel from Innistrad. One of Avacyn's archangels. And yeah, this is apparently how she got turned into this... into the Broken Blade, which then fuses with the Dying Light into, you know, Griezla. Kinda neat. We see how her, yeah, basically how tentacles spawn off her hands and her eyes. It actually looks pretty cool in foil, I must say. A slight foiling on the hair and the skin. And then the very shiny crown and tentacles. Yeah, I like it. Feathers in the background. That's cool. Sweet. And last we actually got a spirit token. Let's look at that. Looks like this is a black and white token. Yeah, it's a token creature spirit. 1/1 flying. Alright. So this wasn't a very nice pack. I mean, we've got a few cool cards, like the Galvanic Discharge is pretty neat. The Combat Trick, the Upgrade Murder. I mean, in one of 2 of my cheaper decks, I still play something like Murder. As a, like, I don't know, 6/7 and removal. Don't have any better idea what to play there. So this is neat. Tuska's interesting. Really like the Energy Girl. Enchantment's pretty cool. I think overall all the enchantments we got are pretty cool. Like, we got 3 enchantments, a lot of instants. Not that many creatures, was kind of interesting. The Winter Moon is kind of nice. So overall, I think this was a juicy pack. What do you all think? What would be, what would be your favorite card from the pack? Not only like money-wise, but also, you know, power level-wise. What do you like? Or just artwork-wise? Heck, let me know in the comments. Anyways, that's all from me for tonight. Have a good one, everybody. Play for the place. Signing out of here. Bye.